Why do some photographers attract premium clients consistently, while others with the same skill level struggle with random inquiries and unpredictable bookings? The photographers booking premium clients at full rates aren't better at sales. They are betting at defining exactly who they serve before they ever start marketing. When you know your ideal client with precision, your website copy writes itself, your portfolio curation becomes obvious, your pricing feels justified, and your marketing channels become clear. Welcome back. This is episode 5, the final episode in our 5-part series on photography marketing. We've covered the complete strategy overview, how to create a marketing plan that gets executed, how to build a website that converts, and how to allocate time and budget. Today we are closing with the foundation that makes everything else work. Defining your ideal photography client isn't about limiting opportunities. It's about focusing on your marketing on the 20% of clients who generate 80% of your revenue. Book without negotiating, refer others, and align with the work you want to create. Clear client definition makes every marketing decision easier and more effective. This is exactly one of the core components we cover inside the Elite Success Accelerator. We go deep on how to define your ideal client properly so your positioning, messaging, and marketing decisions actually line up instead of pulling in different directions. Get free access, link is in the description. The resistance to client definition usually comes from a reasonable place. You worry that you're narrowing your focus means fewer bookings, so you keep your options open. But that openness creates a different problem. Your marketing message fractures, your positioning blurs, and potential clients can't figure out if you're the right photographer for them. You believe that narrowing your focus means fewer bookings, so you market to everyone. Couples, families, seniors, corporate clients, you name it. You hope volume will compensate for lack of direction. But generic positioning makes you invisible in a crowded market. When someone searches for a wedding photographer, they don't want someone who also shoots corporate events and pet portraits. They want a specialist. Photographers who specialize in a specific niche rank 40% higher for local intent keywords than generalists because their entire web presence reinforces one clear message. Specialization doesn't limit opportunity, it creates authority. The photographer known for one thing books more of that thing at higher rates than the photographer available for everything. You look at successful photographers in your market and assume their ideal client should be your ideal client. But their business model, their pricing structure, their personal strength, and their market positioning are different from yours. What works for a photographer charging $8,000 per wedding won't work for a photographer charging $2,500. The clients who book at those price points have different values, different decision-making processes, and different expectations. Copying a competitor's client profile without understanding the strategy behind it leads to misaligned marketing that attracts inquiries you can't close or clients you can't profitably serve. Your ideal client definition must be built from your own data, your own strengths, and the business you actually want to run. Your best clients are already in your past bookings. The work here isn't invention, it's recognition. You're looking for patterns among the clients who paid well, referred others, communicated clearly, and left you energized rather than drained. This is where the Pareto principle comes immediately practical. 80% of your future revenue will likely come from just 20% of your client types. Your job is to identify that 20% and stop diluting your marketing trying to serve the other 80%. Review every client from the last 12 months. Not all of them deserve equal weight in your analysis. Focus on the ones who paid your full rate without negotiating. Referred others who are also booked, communicated clearly throughout the process, and left you energized rather than drained. What do they have in common demographically and psychographically and behaviorally? Where did they find you? What did they value most about your work? This data tells you exactly who to build your marketing around. Questions to identify your most profitable client type. Which past clients paid your full rate without negotiating? Which clients referred others who also booked? Which project did you enjoy so much you do them again at the same rate? Where did your best clients find you originally? Not every inquiry is a potential client. Only 27% of leads sent to sales are actually qualified, which means most inquiries were never realistic prospects. Your pricing is your first filter. If you are priced correctly for your target market, price shoppers disqualify themselves before they inquire. Hiding your prices completely backfires. You spend hours on consultations with people who were never going to afford you. Displaying starting prices on your website reduces inquiry volume, but it doubles booking rates because you are only speaking with qualified leads. Your website copy, your portfolio, your pricing should all work together to attract your ideal client and repel everyone else. That repelling isn't a bug, it's a feature. Demographics are the starting point, not the definition. Age, income, and location tell you where to find potential clients, but they don't tell you how to connect with them. Two clients with identical demographics can have completely different values, priorities, and decision-making processes. The photographers who attract premium clients consistently understand the difference between who their clients are and what their clients care about. Two 30-year-old couples, for instance, planning weddings with $50,000 budgets can have completely different values. One couple prioritizes experience and trusts vendor recommendations. The other prioritizes control and researches every detail independently. Your marketing must speak to psychographics, not just demographics. Gen Z and millennials make up the primary demographic for wedding and portrait photography, and 97% of Gen Z consumers use social media as their top source of shopping inspiration. That tells you where to market, but it doesn't tell you what to say when you get there. A wedding photographer targeting couples who value documentary storytelling will market differently than one targeting couples who value highly styled editorial imagery, even if both couples have identical demographics. Your ideal client shares your values around what makes photography valuable. If you believe photography is about preserving authentic emotion, your ideal client values candid moments over post-perfection. If you believe photography is about creating art, your ideal client values creative vision over safe traditional images. When your values align, pricing conversations become easier, creative direction becomes collaborative, and referrals become natural. Misaligned values create friction at every stage. A client who values photography as a commodity will never understand why you charge more than the photographer down the street, no matter how well you explain your process. 73% of consumers say they are willing to pay more for a product or service that promises total transparency and specialization. That willingness comes from value alignment, not demographics. Every marketing decision becomes easier when you know exactly who you serve. Your website copywrites itself because you know who is reading it. Your portfolio curation becomes obvious because you know what your ideal client wants to see. Your social media content has direction because you know what resonates with your audience. Without niche clarity, marketing becomes guesswork. With it, every tactic has direction and purpose. When you serve multiple client types, your marketing message fractures. Your Instagram shows weddings, corporate headshots, family portraits, and personal projects, confusing potential clients about what you actually specialize in. Your website copy tries to appeal to everyone and ends up resonating with no one. A newborn photographer whose website, blog, and social media are entirely focused on newborn photography will outrank a photographer who lists newborns as one of 10 services offered. The algorithm rewards focus, so do clients. Consistent brand presentation across all platforms increases revenue by up to 23%. That consistency is only possible when you know exactly who you're talking to. When your portfolio shows only the work you want to book more of, inquiries shift immediately. If you want to book luxury weddings, but your portfolio includes budget weddings, you'll continue attracting budget clients. Your portfolio isn't a resume of everything you do. It's a marketing tool that shows your ideal client exactly what they can expect. Curate ruthlessly. Remove anything that doesn't represent the clients you want to attract or the price point you want to command. Relevance matters as much as quality. A portfolio of 20 perfect aligned images will book more ideal clients than a portfolio of 100 mixed images, even if some of those 100 are technically superior. Portfolio alignment checklist. Remove images from client types you no longer want to serve. Feature only work at or above your target price point. Organized by service category, not chronologically. Start with aspiration, not data. Define the client you want to serve based on the work you want to create, the price point you want to command, and the experience you want to deliver. Build your portfolio intentionally through style shoots or collaboration that attract that client type. Refine your definition as you gain experience. You can serve multiple client types, but each requires separate marketing. A photographer shooting both weddings and commercial work needs 2 distinct portfolios, ideally 2 completely different websites, and 2 messaging strategies. Trying to market both to the same audience dilutes both messages. If you choose multiple niches, commit to maintaining clarity and separation. Gradually shift your portfolio, raise your prices, and stop marketing to that client type. Handle the transition professionally over 6 to 12 months. Update your website to showcase only the work you want to attract. As your marketing shifts, inquiry will naturally align with your new ideal client definition. Client definition is foundational work. It doesn't generate leads on its own, but it makes every lead generation activity more effective because you know exactly who you are trying to reach and what message will resonate with them. Defining your ideal client is the foundation of every marketing decision covered in the complete photography marketing strategy. Your ideal client determines which social platforms you prioritize, what SEO keywords you target, what website copy you write, what email content you send, and what paid advertising channels you use. Without client clarity, marketing becomes guesswork. With it, every tactic has direction and purpose. This is why client definition comes first. It makes everything else in your marketing strategy more effective and easier to execute. That brings us to the end of this 5-part series. The photographers who build sustainable businesses aren't working harder than everyone else. They are working on systems that multiply their effort. Marketing is the system that brings clients to you so you can spend your time doing what you actually love, making photographs. The Elite Success Accelerator closes a crucial gap that most photographers face. It moves beyond isolated tactics, offering a structured learning environment centered on visibility, building robust systems, and achieving repeatable growth. ESA provides a clear, connected framework that enables photographers to stop merely reacting to scattered advice and begin building real, consistent momentum. You can join ESA for free. The freemium level gives you immediate access to the foundation most photographers never get, including a starter kit that explains how the full visibility system works and a 7-day content calendar bonus made specifically for photographers, so you can take action right away instead of feeling overwhelmed. The goal is simple: help photographers move from scattered effort to intentional, system-driven progress that continues beyond the camera and generates leads on autopilot. Link is in the description. Thanks so much for watching the entire series, and I'll catch you in the next one.